As mentioned inside, we also have a cell phone booster that is attached to the old, what used to be the TV antenna. We've modernized it to make it a cell phone booster, so that way you can connect to anything that you need. And we were in places where there were 0 bars, and we were able to get at least one, which was very helpful in times of need. Okay.
Hi, welcome in. Welcome to our 1977 vintage Airstream Argosy, which has been lovingly restored to meet our modern aesthetics, but with a lot of vintage touches. It was about 6 months of restoration and designing for 6 months, and then restoration for about a year. So I'm so happy to show you everything around. When you come on in, you can see our Pride welcome mat, and then you've got some boho hooks to hang up your clothes, your coats, what have you, dog leash, and then you can drop your keys right in here. Also, you'll notice on this accent wall, we have a beautiful mushroom, retro-inspired wallpaper by the company Spoonflower. And on these entryway drawer pools, these are vintage 1970s mushroom door pools from a small business off of Etsy. So you come on in, drop off your things, and there's additional storage down here. This drawer in the middle is actually a secret spot. So you can, it's a false front, so you can stuff your computer, your keyboard, anything in there. And it pops open to be additional seating space for guests, or you can work from home over here. Put your keyboard and your mouse monitor up here, and that way you have an ergonomic space for when you're working from home. You can see that everything in this Airstream is built with these chairs in mind. Those who are vintage junkies know that these are 1970s Seska inspired chairs, which are vintage and true. They are lovingly restored with a crushed velvet top. And when you're over here, this is our dining area. It's built to accommodate 2, but you could put in another seat and have 3 people. And it's built so that way you can enjoy your dinner while you look out and enjoy the view. You can see that many Airstreams have a dinette version, but we thought the best part about traveling in an Airstream is your parking spot. So now you can, of course, talk to your loved one, or you can look out and enjoy the view. Next, you can come on over here. While we go through, you can see this is a custom RV ambiance light from a company called Lucent Light Shop. And then we've got throughout the entire Airstream custom made blackout curtains, so that on the inside you can keep the temperature controlled or privacy, also keeping the light out so you can sleep in. And on the outside, they are a cream color that matches the outside of the Airstream. Here we have a newly installed furnace by Camco. It runs off of propane. That way, if you're off the grid or wanting to save from electricity, you can use an electric source of heat, or you can use this propane heater. Down here we have an area for dog bowls, and we'll also show you something special about this little nook coming up. This is our sleeping area. It is designed to fit a standard queen mattress. So a lot of times you'll see custom mattresses that are cut with the curve in the front, but no one wants to use a used mattress. This way you can buy a new mattress from wherever you prefer, queen size, super comfortable, and fully staying up all the time. You can see here we have plenty of storage. You can access both from the front, and you can also access it from the top. There is a hydraulic lift kit so that it's extremely easy to lift, and then you can keep the storage open for as long as you need. My partner and I were living in here full time, and we had more than enough storage. thanks to some closets and drawers, but also underneath the bed. Now, up in front of the bed area, you can see we have a built-in storage shelf. So you can fit additional belongings up here, so you don't have to get out of bed, maybe extra blankets. And there's also charging ports with both 3-prong and then also USB controllers. There's also an area there that you would see the solar charge controller. And above the bed, we've opted to keep the original upper cabinets from the 1977 Airstream. And when you open them up, there is a Bluetooth connected radio system so that you can Bluetooth your phone, and then music will come out of these built-in speakers. Now this area up here is actually connected to a King mobile signal booster. So if you are low on cell phone signal, this will be able to take maybe just 1 bar or 2 bars of signal and give you a full signal. So if you want to watch something on Netflix, or if you're needing to work from the tiny house and it's not a place with a lot of strong signal, you are able to do that. Also, speaking of Netflix, we have a built-in shelf over here. It collapses so that way you're not hitting it when you're sleeping, but it pops out and you can put a mini projector on there. We have a screen that's included in the Airstream, and you can watch movies from bed. On our way to the kitchen, I'll show you, we have this newly installed Max Air fan with both input and output. So if you're using the propane heater and you need to have ventilation, or if you are hot in the summer, we didn't use air conditioning at all, and this was perfectly okay for us. All right, so now let's make our way to the kitchen. Again, we've opted to keep the original upper cabinets this time. So there's 3 original upper cabinets for plenty of storage. And then we have a brand new Dometic refrigerator, which has space for all of your fruits and veg and groceries. And it also has a freezer. So if you need a pint of ice cream, you're able to have that on the road as well. Now, back here is one of my favorite parts of the Airstream renovation. This is actually vintage wallpaper from a small business off of Etsy from the 70s. And the way that the wallpaper works is it looks like it's a tiled backsplash without having the risk or added weight of an actual tile. All of these countertops are Formica. And then we move over here to a double sink, which when you don't have a dishwasher, a double sink is a real game changer. So we have a double sink with a removable faucet on this side. This is all connected to our on-demand water heater. And then here we have an Acuva water filter. So we have filters for the water coming in from a hose, but it's really important that when you are on the road or when you're parked for a tiny house, you don't know the water quality that you're having. So we opted to have the top of the line water purification system. So it is on demand. You just turn this and you'll have fresh drinking water quality all the time. Right now, we don't have the water running because the whole Airstream is put in storage. So it is called winterized. You can see as you open every cabinet that there is also that same spoonflower design, those mushrooms as kind of a surprise. Plenty of storage in here. As I said, my partner and I both lived here full time, and we did not need any other space. We had plenty of space for all of our groceries, spices. We cook from scratch very often, and we were able to have all the space that we need. Over here is another one of my favorite aspects of our Airstream renovation. The person that we purchased this Airstream from had actually taken out the original stove, but it is one of our favorite things about these vintage Airstreams. So we opted to reinstall it, making it more secure than originally done. And it has a 4-burner stovetop as well as a full oven. For an Airstream size, that is. Over here, above the oven, you have an exhaust system. And you also have kind of your control panel station. So you can see the battery monitor, how much battery you have left. And this is also where you would control the pump for the water pump and the hot water. Now, we already have plenty of storage underneath the bed, but one of the perks of this Airstream is that there's also a full closet. So you can hang up clothes, and then this fits a ton of clothes. We had 2 people's full-time wardrobe over here. We also have the bedding for the additional bed space stored here, tucked away, so that way you could have plenty of space for that. And finally, we have the bathroom. It has plenty of privacy with a built-in pocket door. And then as you come in, we have a focus light. And you can see here our new sink, new faucet, new mirror. We also changed the layout of the Airstream Argosy bathroom, so that way you have plenty of counter space for getting ready in the morning. This is a methane tube, which is for safety. You can see that a lot of renovations of Airstreams take this out, and actually that's a huge concern. We worked on this renovation project with a licensed contractor in the state of Oregon. Every single part of our build was checked and confirmed by a licensed contractor. And what we learned from him is that these tubes not only eliminate odor, it's also a safety regulation. So if you wanted to take this tiny house off-grid completely, you could change it to a composting toilet, but we opted to keep the flushing toilet so that way it's ready for whatever you need. We have plenty of storage underneath, and all of the plumbing has been redone in this Airstream. We also have wiring for solar as well. We have a little cubby over here. This is a flushing toilet, a new flushing toilet. And then over here we have the shower. And this is a water-saving shower head. You can hook it up here as well to have more space. And this shower curtain comes from a company called Society 6. And one of my favorite things about it is that when you look at Airstreams from the 1960s and 1970s, a very similar wallpaper is on the sides of the bathroom. And so we wanted to pay an homage to that by having this shower curtain. Also worth noting, throughout the entire Airstream, all of our windows are in working condition. So you can just pull them out. And you can put them back in. All right, that's it for the inside. Let's go on outside. As promised, the special surprise, why this nook is so important. We designed this space to perfectly accommodate the 2 Seska chairs stacked just like so that you can have enough space for an extra bed here. You can see that there's also plenty of space to still get between the back bed and the bathroom, which in the middle of the night, I will tell you, that is very important.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the outside of our lovely Bernice. As you can see, she's the original cream color. She's had her paint redone, but she maintained the same cream color paint as well as the orange detailing that is around the side. Also to note, there's brown paint along the bottom. It's not rust, which is what we thought when we first saw the pictures, but it's actually brown paint. You have a nice handle here to help get in. And so, as we make our way around, we can see that we have a nice awning. So watch out for the water. We just had rain. But you can easily set up a couple of chairs out here, have a dining space. You can really just expand your living space. as living in a tiny space, you need to maximize how much you can do outside. Along with that, there is electricity, an AC power outlet that you can use to plug in. So if you want to do your work outside, if you're working from home, which I did on many occasions, I just plugged in my computer there, we're set to go.
We also have lights.
And we also have lights that we will also include in the Airstream cell that will fit around the awning to give you a nice little fun ambiance at night. And just go out the front. To make your way over here, we have where our solar connection comes in. So we have two solar panels on top. One is 100 watt, one is 150 watt. Together they bring in power when it's not raining, which recharges the battery. Right now there is no inverter, so it's only charging up the DC currents, not the AC currents. So if you would like to build that out, you would need to expand that with an inverter and probably some more battery packs. But for now, it can keep enough charge for an overnight stay, boondocking, or multiple days depending on how sunny it is. But you wouldn't be able to use any of the AC powering units, but that's how that works. Here's where you would access the battery, and it's under the bed, so if you want to expand that, there's plenty of space there where we've protected that spot, so you can keep adding to that spot. Here you see our beautiful wraparound windows, which is what Airstreams are known for.
You want to do that one again, because you're back?
Do where?
Yeah, near here you can see
See what?
the beautiful wraparound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here you can see the beautiful wraparound windows, which is what Airstreams are known for. We really wanted to put our bed where we could see everything. And so that's why we positioned and did the layout that we did, because we wanted to really enjoy the spaces that we were in. Under here, we have two propane tanks that are 50 pounds each. That'll keep you set for a long time. And also here, we have an electric hitch so that you do not have to crank the Airstream up and down. So you just plug it in right there and does that. Along with that, we have, there's this level works. So we are going to include leveling blocks, which you back up over to either raise one side or the other. That way your soup isn't spilling out of your pot, or you're not rolling on top of your partner when you're sleeping. It's really important to keep leveling. Along with that, because this Airstream was made in the 70s, that was back when trailers were pulled by cars. So the hitch does ride a little bit lower. So we have a adjustment piece to what you would use for your hitch that we will include, as well as stabilizing bars that connect here and here that are brand new, as well as another stabilizing piece that connects, so that way when you're pulling, it'll pull really easily. We pull with a 2015 Nissan Titan that has four-wheel drive and is maxed up to 12,000 pounds. We pull it, it's about 5,600 pounds when we pull it with our stuff in it. So if you get a vehicle with that, it's really easy to pull, and while it's a learning curve to learn how to back it in, it really follows pretty well. As a first-time trailer driver, it was pretty easy for me to pick that up, so which is great. It also has a 7-pin plug-in for your vehicle, so whatever vehicle you're towing with, it'll need to be a 7-pin adapter for that. Here we have the fresh water intake. So say you're going to spend a few days not hooked up to any services, or you're going off grid, then you can fill this water tank. It's 35 pounds, I believe. Yeah,
Gallons.
35 gallons. That's how we measure water. It's 35 gallons that'll hold you over, and it's also connected to a water pump, which just runs on DC. So that way, if you aren't plugged in, you'll be able to access your water. It rests. We also put it under the shelf instead of under the bed, just for safety. And also, what's nice about the water being up here is for towing, having weight more in the front of your trailer versus in the back is safer. So.
And it locks.
And it locks, so you can keep your water safe. Here's an old antenna that the radio is hooked up to. It's the original antenna. And then in here, the previous owner installed a propane water heater so that way you're not storing and having to continue to reheat water in an old water tank, a water heater tank. But so it runs on demand, and that way you're able to have hot water whenever you need it and not having to worry about who took the longest shower.
And the tires.
Oh, get there. Get to the tires in a second. Here we have the access to the back of the fridge. So because our fridge, which I don't think was mentioned, is both AC and DC powered. So if you're only running on battery, it's able to stay charged. It's able to keep running. Or if you're plugged in, it'll run on that. We didn't opt for the 3-way because we've heard refrigerators that have propane intake are probably the most commonplace fires that occur in RVs, so we opted for the 2-way refrigerator that you saw inside. And then our tires, we have 4 brand new tires along with a spare tire that we purchased when we bought the RC. They have about 5,000 miles on them. Here's the tires that we bought. They have about 5,000 miles on them.
Sorry, I laughed during it.
Okay, so here you can see our tires. They're new-ish. We bought them just a year and a half ago, and they have about 5,000 miles on them just from our travels and also getting the trailer to us. And they're in good shape, and along with, they have a braking system that is electric that will help keep you safe on the road. And then coming back here, where you don't want to spend a lot of time, but here's where if you're hooking up to intake water, here's where you would put your hose, and we'll include a freshwater hose as well as a filtration system for you, as well as a water pressure thing to keep your water flowing nicely so that you don't have too fast a pressure. Sometimes, depending on where you're at, the water pressure can be different. And then also under here we have our stabilizer legs, and all 4 of them work great to keep you just a little more balanced, especially just providing more support so you're not just on your tires and your hitch. Right here is the waste tank. So there are going to be 2 levers that you pull, one for the gray tank and one for the black tank, when you have to take care of your stuff, which is just part of having a tiny home, is you learn how that works. Along with that, there's a lot of campgrounds and even just times when you don't want to move your trailer but you still want to dump. We are including a dump trolley in our sale, so that way you are able, as we found, to not have to move our trailer but still get rid of our waste when we needed to. And it hooks on the back of a truck so you can tow it somewhere so you don't have to handle any of it, and it works great. So we'll include that in the sale. And here you have the back bumper. Inside is our wastewater hoses. You only want to store, and also this is where our plug comes to get plugged into shore power. You only want to store waste hoses in here. You wouldn't want to store your fresh and your waste together. So we've never done that. We've always kept them separate, so we'll also package them separate when we sell it to you. And there we have the Airstream, I believe.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on our tour, and we hope you love her as much as we do.